guy. And we talked Friday about the self-ionization of water. Basically the idea that water can react with itself because it's amphoteric. I know I haven't defined that, but I have said that in class. Do you guys remember what amphoteric means? And it just means that it can act as an acid or a base. And I will actually define that for you a little bit later, but I do remember saying it in class. I just maybe didn't elaborate on it. And so water reacts with itself to produce hydronium and hydroxide, okay? And there is an equilibrium point for this reaction, okay? And so we could write the equilibrium expression and figure out that equilibrium constant, okay? And later I showed you what that equilibrium constant was. Do you remember what the number of that equilibrium constant was? 1 times 10 to the negative 14. Okay, so since that's a really small number, where do you think the equilibrium lies for that?
Quite to the less than 1?
Well, it's way less than 1.
Yeah,
So
reactants.
Yeah, it's going to lie mostly reactant. So what that means is at equilibrium, I have mostly water. Which makes sense, right? When you drink water, you're not dealing with a whole bunch of, I guess you wouldn't know if you had ions in solution or not, but if it lied really far to the right, you probably wouldn't see much liquid water, right? So then we began talking about. I reviewed what the ion names were. There's a couple questions. Okay, so there's your equilibrium expression. Okay, and we call this specific constant Kw because it refers to water's self-ionization. And there's the number. And why does it say only at 25 degrees Celsius?
Because that is only at 25 degrees Celsius.
What did you say? Yep, because temperature is the only stressor that can change the equilibrium constant. Okay? Now most of the time we will deal with it at 25 degrees Celsius. You may come across something where it'll say that Kw is different, or you might get an answer that suggests it's different. But it's usually just going to be a faulty question or a trick question if they try to give you a different Kw. Okay, and then what we did was, and I said that when I dissolve an acid or a base in water, that acid or that base will react with water. If it's an acid, it will react with water to produce a lot of this, and this will go down. Okay? Okay, why do I say if it's an acid, you'll get a lot of this? What do acids do? They give a proton, right? So this would be the given version or the accepted version of that give, if you will. Okay? If it's the other way around, if it's a base, it's going to accept the hydrogen from the water, producing that. That makes sense? Like if I have a base, this is a base, what's it going to do? It's going to take the hydrogen from the water. So we'll have this and we'll have this. You see how when you put a base in water, this goes up? And when you put an acid in water, it does the opposite. It gives the hydrogen to this, making the H3O concentration go up. Okay? Questions so far, just review, I know, but I want to make sure there's time for questions. So if I know one, I can solve for the other using this equilibrium expression. We did another math problem here. This was just figuring out what the concentration of hydroxide was when they give us the hydronium. And we talked about the pH scale. And we said we can figure out the pH of something by taking the negative log of however many hydroniums, or what was the other word that I said was interchangeable with hydronium?
Proton.
Just hydrogen. Or that proton, okay? So you may see me write negative log of H3O plus. You may also see me write negative log of H plus. Then we talked about the pH scale. I said if we're at 7, a pH of 7, that means we're neutral. Now, this is what a neutral solution would look like. I think I showed this to you the other day. Neutral means, why did I do that? Neutral means that I have the same concentrations of hydronium and hydroxide. What, if these two numbers are the same, what would they have to be to give me the KW? I stated this, I think, on Friday. But
Is that a 4?
Don't they just add the exponents?
these numbers need to be the same to be neutral. So, that makes sense? Okay? Negative log of that is what? 7. pH is 7. That's where you get a neutral solution where the acid and the base have completely neutralized each other, giving us a pH of 7. If this goes up, okay, this concentration goes up, this number actually will go down, and vice versa. Okay. So above 7, basic, below 7, acidic. And we did this. Okay. Ready for the remaining 4 equations? Do that. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. Now, I have them in your appendix. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write all 6 equations that I have given you in this this section. So we have our KW equation. How I wrote it the other day. There's 1. We have our pH equation. And then we have these 4, which I am going to write them all up here so that we have them when we start doing some math problems. There's all 7 right there. Basically, this is every possible way all of these 4 variables are related to each other. Okay? pH is negative log of my H concentration. pOH is negative log of my OH concentration. And how are they related to each other? If you add them together, you should get 14. So, is it possible that I give you OH minus concentration and ask you to find the pH? For example, let's say I give you an OH minus concentration of 2.3 times 10 to the negative 9. Okay? There are a variety of ways using these equations that you can find the pH. Sometimes I feel like students struggle with this only because there's multiple ways to do it. Let me show you what I mean. Could I take the OH minus concentration, plug it into this equation to get the H3O plus concentration, and then negative log of it to get the pH?
Yeah.
Yep. Could I take the OH, could I take the negative log of OH minus to get the pOH? And then use this equation and subtract it from 14 to get the pH?
Yes.
So these equations will be on the board for the test?
I haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
They're pretty basic equations.
It's not funny. Don't laugh.
Okay, so what I'm trying to suggest here is, in fact, I could probably find a third way to do this that would be like using more equations. Okay, usually there's one or two methods that are the easiest. You need to be comfortable with finding which one's the easiest for you. Okay, so
Do you have a worksheet for this?
we will eventually, but you won't want it.
Okay.
It's long.
Oh, shoot. Great.
Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. You want to see it?
What?
Yeah, we see it.
Give me at least a little one.
Come on, buddy.
Oh,
Oh!
what is that?
No! Dad!
This is all of this.
Wow.
I don't even know what it is.
All these guns!
Okay, did
It's actually quite
like
simple.
brainwash me? Like
all
maybe
these
like
guns.
doing that. Did we do that?
Still don't give me a
Well, we're about to do that. Okay.
Wow.
This one's a super easy question. You can probably do this without plugging into your calculator, but if you need to plug it into your calculator, you certainly can. It says, what does the pOH equal if the OH concentration is 1 times 10 to the negative 10? It's 10.
Equilibrium below.
What's the pH?
4.
4.
Wait.
If pOH is 10, pOH or pH has to be 4. Okay? Could I have done this a different way? Could I have taken this, find the H3O plus concentration, then negative log of that to find pH? That's possible too. Okay? You figure out what is the easiest way for you guys to come up with the pH when you are doing it. Alright, so here's kind of how they all relate.
That's unreal.
Oh, that's actually kind of helpful.
Do you want me to print off this? Or
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to find out when it gives us like one of the like hydroniums or hydroxide. What if it just gives you like the molarity of like a random solution? It like wants to find one of the.
Do you remember how I said if they give you like HI and they say this is a 2 molar solution, it breaks up into this and this at a 1:1 ratio? So this is the concentration of that. You take the negative log of it to get your pH.
That makes sense.
Now, I could have put high in water and then it would have been H3O plus, but remember how I said H plus and H3O plus are interchangeable? You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I have something to print this out for you guys. Thought I did. Maybe I don't. It's not in your notes at all? Is it like on the next page or anything like that? That's the negatory? Hey, there it is. What? It's kind of, I feel like that doesn't look very easy.
Dude, I was asleep at 10:15.
I'll get this
I
here.
swear.
Man, I went 15.
Like,
Yeah, I was doing good at it.
Oh, I know.
I told myself, I said,
want to.
I'm not touching my phone when I get in my bed. And I didn't.
I was in my bed for like
I got on my laptop.
half of the day yesterday. I needed to know.
But I actually wrote my essay, so.
When I'm at home, I'm pretty sure 90% of the time.
5 paragraph.
Wait.
That's it.
Oh, that's been like 2 weeks though. We're good. Okay,
That's quotes.
I'm pretty sure 90% of the time I'm at home, I'm in my bed, just sitting there, like doing stuff. In my bed.
Alright, so currently it's printing all kid for you. Okay, cool.
No, I was on my phone until 10:15, and then Ricer said it down.
I don't care, Trinity. Alright.
Oh.
Let's do this process.
Fucking
Exactly, but I had to be the innocent bystander that had to listen.
Same.
I'm
Every day.
Come on, Stu. Come on.
What is that?
No.
Yeah.
Do not
Like after a
Oh, it's too
It's a
good.
Monday. You know what, guys?
It's a Monday.
Mondays are what you make it out to be.
Amen.
Tired.
That's what you're making it out to be. You can change it.
Well, you were in bed at 10:15. It could be a dub in the soccer field.
Yeah, that took like a 6 hour.
It says, calculate a whole bunch of junk.
Monday.
No. Oh, yes.
Whoa.
Calculate the pH, the pOH, and the OH minus concentration when you're given 0.0001 molar HCl solution. Now, I will show both of these things because I use them interchangeably, and I want to make sure you understand this is an acid. When it is put in water, it will dissolve into its ions. There's two ways of writing this. That way is assuming we know it's in water, or we can actually put the water in there. Do you see why I say this and this are used interchangeably?
Yeah.
Okay? Now, it tells us that the concentration of this guy is 0.0001 molar. Okay, we are going to assume completely dissociates. It's a logical assumption at this point. So, if I know that HCl is 0.0001 molar, then the H plus also is
0.001 molar.
0.001 molar.
That's kind of creepy.
That was really
A little bit. I like it though. And this is essentially what that number is in scientific notation. Okay? If they give you one number, you should be able to solve for all of them. The question is which one you want to find first, and what direction do you want to go
What's
to
the
find.
easiest?
Let's find the pH.
Okay, I think that
It's 4.
finding pH pretty quickly is probably something that's pretty easy
pH is
because
4.
we already have the H3O concentration, so we would just do what with it? Negative logs, but since it's 1 here, it's easy.
4.
It's 4.
So pH
pOH 10.
is 4. Now I think the easiest way to go next would be to find the pOH.
pOH 4, 10.
Because I know pH plus pOH is 14.
You're right.
Are there other ways to find
Longer than the jump.
pOH?
Well, if you wanted it.
There are longer ways. But this way is probably the easiest. The last one that we want is OH minus. And there is a whole hefty amount of ways to find it.
One.
We can find it using this equation. We can find it using this equation.
I was just 10 times.
Which one do you prefer to use?
Bottom one, just look at it.
What's the first option?
Oh. They're like,
They're about the same in difficulty. This one you just divide by H3O plus. This you just do 10 to the power of negative 10. So it's 1 times 10 to the negative 10.
what's that?
Only because it was 1 to begin with. If that makes any sense.
What if it's not 1?
I need to give you one that's not super simple like
I
this.
know. Because
When I get those, gonna be like,
Hey, what am I?
Well,
Here's what happens.
so here's the, I mean, the process is still the same. It's just we don't have to use a calculator because these are nice, neat numbers. Yeah? Does that make sense? So I'm hoping the next couple will be a little bit more difficult. Let's see.
That's pretty neat.
pH 4, pOH 10, OH minus concentration. Yeah, we got it. We're good. Gosh, I'm gonna ignore this because I want to find a harder one. I'm gonna ignore this
Okay,
because I want to find a harder
what
one.
if it is a hard one? For
Let's do this.
What's an easy one again?
Gosh. Yeah.
oh yes.
Oh,
there's one that's a very
Next one's hard. Let's do the next one.
I don't even understand what's going on.
Let's do this.
Singer.
Okay? And then how about I give you a third one that I just make up on my own, and then you do it. How about that?
Do it.
Okay?
And then put it on my calculator.
So, this is, I think, the last one in your notes.
Yeah.
Okay? And then you can cross up the one above it, and I'll give you a new one. Cool? So the only reason why I say this is a little bit more difficult is you're actually going to have to plug it into your calculator because they don't give you 1 times something.
Oh, what's a calculator?
Yes, so get your calculators out, put your biblioteca, and start doing the work.
Library?
I'll pull up my library.
Yeah, why?
I said go to the library.
I feel like Kramer should why? Do you really want to? Let's go, guys.
My calculator literally has 3 loading screens before it can boot up.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so that's the pH.
Sounds like
Negative-
welfare.
All right.
Negative log of that's the pH.
So, says sulfuric acid solution has a hydronium ion concentration. So I can just write right now what the hydronium ion concentration is since they gave it to us. And then it wants us to find, doesn't say. What does it say in here? Everything?
pH, OH minus, and pOH.
There's a variety of ways we could, there's usually a best way, but you have to figure out which would be the easiest way to figure out whatever they're asking you to do, okay? Since they gave us hydronium, I think it's just easiest to find the pH right away. So, since they gave us the hydronium concentration, we can plug that into the negative log to find the pH. Why don't you guys do that?
1.49.
Everybody, 1.49?
Yeah.
This math is not overly difficult. You just got to get yourself familiar with these equations and figure out the best way that works for you to get these answers.
COH is 12.5.
Yep. And again, I can find pOH a different route, but this one's probably the easiest in the context of this problem. I'm going to plug in pH into this problem, subtract it from 14 to get pOH. Okay, so 14 minus, and I'll write it in here. 14 minus 1.49 is 12.51. So there's your pOH, there's your pH, and there's your H3O plus concentration. Now, I know you could probably find the OH minus concentration using this equation, but I want you to do it using this equation. Okay, so you take 10 and raise to the power of negative pOH, which would be 10 to the negative 12.51. That should give you a number.
3.09 times 10 to the negative 13.
Now, if you want to compare and make sure that that's a right number,
That's not as accurate as
What, please?
as doing 1 times 10 to the negative 14 divided by
Yes.
3.2.
yeah, probably.
It's 3.125 times 10 to the negative 13.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you do 12.5, 10 to the negative 12.51, or did you round to 12.5?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just quickly take this number times this number. It should be relatively close to that 1 times 10 to the negative 14 number.
Which one?
OH minus and H3O plus.
What?
Yep. And it should give you your constant or really close to it.
What's this?
9.888 times 10 to the negative.
Yeah. So that's pretty much rounded to 1 times 10 to the negative 14. Does that make sense? A way to check your answer. If you round that up to 1.0,
yeah.
it moves the decimal in one spot
Yeah.
and makes it 10 to the negative 14. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Alright, can I give you guys one practice one? Now I'm going to give you a different starting point.
Well,
It's not like it's earth-shattering. I know that sometimes it's hard to know how to go in a back door of your house, but
Yeah, I can't find the back of my house because there are bushes everywhere.
okay. So let's say, so I want you to find the pH, pOH, and the H plus concentration when you know the OH minus concentration is 3.9 times 10 to the negative 3. Well.
Well,
And while you are working on that, I will go get those handouts.
Oh. Wow.
okay.
Oh, I like that. That was fun.
What's the matter?
It's not funny.
What do you think?
Are you working on the homework right now, Colby?
No. I just forgot my notes today because I looked at
I was gonna say you're pulling an Archer up.
Oh,
You know, the Gemini grammar?
what? Excuse me?
So I'm not.
You want to say that louder? Because I haven't done that at all.
I really want to, but my wife has
In this
practice
class.
today.
Do I just grab that?
Can you have help? Yes. What? Okay, you're not going to be able to directly find the pH from that number. You're going to have to solve for something else first. So, because there's no direct relationship between finding, like if you look up here, like you need this to find pH. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so you need to probably solve for something else first.
Sorry, always.
Yeah, well, you have always negative. So you could find this.
What do you mean I have over?
I can't, it's right here, the answer.
Number 2? The second example?
No, I wrote a new problem in it.
No, I'll work on the second example.
Oh. Okay, so then what did they give you?
Okay, so who you got?
The homework makes so much more sense.
Yay!
I did like 4 questions last night, and then I remembered. Oh, what?
If you're doing this problem, then yeah, you could find the pH.
Come on now, I got you.
0.56.
What is it?
I was like,
Okay,
You're
is the game
missing
still at
4 of the 6.
Yeah.
You're missing
Wait, what time?
Is the girls' game away or
What's the equation? That's your pH one up there, the check 4 and 5.
Why are they always?
So that's just, if you want to write the other 2 next to it. It's in your notes, but it's just not on that page.
That's literally not. I was like,
And you should be able to find the pH that way.
you just stepped on my food.
Well, put your food off the trailer.
Oh!
Wow. Dude, I'm sorry. I like losing you.
I'm sort of actually.
She was like,
Whatever.
he was like,
I feel like
This is the first day I've been kind of like nip it at you a
I
little
feel like
bit.
that all the time though.
By me?
Yes.
Do I nip at her very often?
No, I don't know. It's just like you seem grumpy.
not enough.
I'm the least grumpy of all right now.
Not right now.
Lost Andrew and you.
Nah.
You straight up denied me on the
Like you
bus.
just insulted me. Like I'm too stupid for
Class.
You want
I say that?
No.
He said we're-
No. Okay. I just.
If anything,
I get
you
that
don't
vibe.
Want to get that vibe from me?
You wanna be Kevin.
I've been told that hey, girls get that vibe from me, and he
I don't get
said.
that vibe from you.
No.
Lauren Wells told me she felt that way until she shook his hand.
I realized that wasn't like that.
What?
That I made people feel stupid.
More like you don't want me.
I already know I'm stupid. I don't need you to make
I don't know.
Yeah.
Why would I? I only want stupid people not in my class. So therefore, yeah, you should leave. I just had that.
You just did it.
I really don't. Okay, so what did you guys get for the H3 plus concentration?
I'm not telling.
2.56 times 10. Negative 2.56
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Natalie.
times 10 to the.
Negative 12. I'm probably just.
What?
Did everybody get that? Or
I got that on live 7, so she's freaking out.
They don't get
I got 2.5
numbers.
I rounded different.
Okay, Tyler, did you get that?
It's probably just a different math,
guys.
dude. It's Natalie better.
What was that?
He needs a golden calculator.
I got the same answer as you.
Had you not solved for it yet, or did you do something else?
Roses really smell like boom, boom, boom.
Just all over my face.
Oh, you just haven't solved for it.
He's literally just like. I don't know if he
She needs a golden calculator.
Oh, it's 2 5 and 8. Oh, you don't divide it. Oh, there you go.
Spot in algebra 2.
Caroline.
Sweet Caroline.
So
Did we have to watch watch a video over the weekend? No, it's a quiz today. Ah, shoot.
Okay, and then
Remember, Trinity wants you to know you just elbowed her in the head. It's okay.
I elbowed you in the head.
You
I felt nothing.
That's
Is it all air up there or what?
You're literally like,
I'm sorry.
no, you're not.
Oops. I'll try to help you a little harder next time. I'm wrong with it. I'm sorry. Sometimes it's just easy, so I just. Honestly, if I'm not making fun of you, it's probably because I don't like you.
Oh. You don't make fun of
So
me?
today's the first day.
I guess that's.
You don't make fun of me?
Inside.
What? Willen?
You don't make fun of
Willen, you are. I don't want to say something too mean. I was going to say something really mean. I was like,
That was a roast.
I roasted by not roasting. Okay, quickly, what did you guys get for these numbers? I'll make sure you got them right.
11.59 and 2.41.
For which one?
Yes.
pH 11.59 and then pOH
2 point what?
2.41. Why did you color your?
Did you guys get all that?
Because
Confirm that?
it helps my brain understand what's going on.
It's like when people highlight the already bold words.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.